Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys?
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Hey wife, did you know that Anchor is sponsoring our show?
Really? Don't we use Anchor to distribute our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts?
Yeah, and we are on just about every other platform available as well, thanks to them.
Why do we use Anchor as our podcasting service?
Well, they make editing and distributing our show a breeze.
What if one of our listeners wants to start their own podcast?
Then they should head over to anchor.fm or download the app to get started.
Awesome! You guys should go do that right now! Husband!
Wife!
Do you remember what happened yesterday?
I remember that we went off on a lot of tangents.
We sure did.
We talked about fucking everything.
We talked about Star Wars and TV shows and Xena.
Right? Yeah. But I think there was like a mom that got pissed off about something.
Athelia.
Athelia?
Yeah.
Okay. And she got
mad.
She killed a lot of people because she was like, fuck you.
Because her son was killed.
Right.
So she took the throne.
But then she was like killing royalty, and like one of the royal kids escaped, and they hid him in like a room for like 6 years.
Okay, the royal kid was a baby.
He was a baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Baby.
It was like a Moses age type of thing.
Right. And he hid away in a room for like 6 years.
And then when he was 7...
they called all the king's men and all the king's horses.
All the king's horses and all the king's men. And they put that kingdom back together again.
Yeah, and then they killed Atheilia.
Yeah. But they had to drag her out because they didn't want to kill her inside the palace?
No, it wasn't. They killed her in the palace. I think they didn't want to kill her in the churchy place.
Throne room,
what do you call it?
The altar.
Fuck, I'm scared.
What was it called?
Failing here. I can't even remember what they called them.
The palace grounds is where they killed her. Yeah. Oh, they didn't want to kill her in the temple of the Lord.
Yeah, the temple. Why can't I think of the temple?
The
Jesus.
temple.
We've only said the temple so many times, like in this book, like it's used all the time.
We're stupid.
I mean, there's that. So.
And so then they took down all of the pagan stuff, the altars to Baal and all that.
Yeah.
They got rid of all those.
Right. And supposedly they're going to be right with God now and stuff.
Because they made that kid read those words.
Right. Also, this is completely separate subject here, but I want to apologize.
You are so sorry.
I am so sorry.
You are sorry.
I accidentally uploaded an episode from 2 Samuel as the main section of our podcast for yesterday's episode.
I don't know why that makes me laugh so hard.
It's fixed now. I think. I mean, it may not be fixed everywhere, but it's fixed, where I can fix it.
Yeah.
And
if the place where you're listening is still showing the wrong thing.
Yeah, go over to Anchor. You can listen to it there. Yeah, for sure.
That's your platform's fault.
Right. Or YouTube. Point. I know it's fixed on YouTube too.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that was my bad. It's all fixed now. I had somebody call me out on it on Twitter, so thank you for that. I really fucked up.
Oopsie doodles.
Yeah, and I should have got their name because I can't. I almost have it in my head. Like I know them when they talk to me. I'm like, oh yeah, that's that. I know them. Yeah. But like I can't remember their name right now as I'm speaking, and I should have had that ready.
You should have.
But regardless, thank you for the help, and I appreciate you letting us know. So, all right. So anyway, that was 2 Kings chapter 11.
It sure as fuck was.
Unless of course you were listening to 2 Samuel. But. Today we're going to be getting into 2 Kings chapter 12. Oh, shit. What are we getting into?
2 Kings chapter 12.
Sorry, I got carried away there.
You sure as fuck did.
I did.
You need to get your shit together, sir.
I will get my shit together.
You get your shit together. Get off of my shit.
Well, look, we were going to do a live stream tonight, and then I broke equipment. And I was like, fucking hell.
You did. You pulled the thing down, and you go, fuck! Yeah. I broke it!
And it's too bad nobody was on the live stream yet, but you would have had a real fun time listening to me, like, dropping my goddamn phone a million times.
And you were like, I'm gonna break something! God damn it!
And then I did.
It was kind kind of funny.
It was something anyway.
It was funny, and I'm over there trying to stay out of your way and not laugh at you, but...
So the live streaming thing that we're trying to do on YouTube every night is going to have to maybe be paused for a couple of days while I figure out a better method to do this because I kind of suck at it apparently.
Well, when you say every night, you mean we did it that one time?
We did it that one time, but we were planning on doing it nightly.
Yeah, because it was fun. It worked out. It was good.
So now I just need to, dig into Google and figure out what the fuck I'm doing. And
buy some better shit.
And yeah, that too. So, I mean.
Oops, sorry. Okay, thanks, bye.
Did I mention we have a Patreon?
Yeah, oh yeah. Help!
Yeah, right, yeah. All right, we're going to get into the next chapter here again, which is...
2 Kings chapter 12, asshole.
Let's do this. Hey, wife, do you like coffee in the morning?
I sure do, husband. Morning, noon, night. Which reminds me, I need to add that to our grocery list because we're running low.
Wait, before you do that, check out the website ungodlybrew.com where you can purchase a pound of your favorite flavor of coffee.
What if I want more than 1 pound?
Either order a larger amount or better yet, get 10% off by setting up a subscription for every 2 weeks or a month or whatever works for you.
Did you set up something special for our listeners?
You know I did. Exclusive for our listeners, get an additional 10% off subscriptions by entering the code SACRILEGIOUSCOFFEE at checkout.
That's a hellishly good deal.
Ungodly Brew is hellishly good coffee.
Okay, so before we get into our book, our chapter.
Our chapter, yeah.
The thing that we do.
Right.
That thing where we're reading the Bible.
Yeah, yeah.
We wanted to give a shout out, I think, to somebody that we really like a lot.
Yeah, no, first of all, it's our new Patreon. It's our new patron.
Our new patron is an awesome person.
Yeah, and we actually, I think, I don't know if we talked about this before, but we talked about somewhere. I think we made a new friend when we went down to the Louisville convention.
The Louisville
the Free Thought convention. Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, his name is Stephen Hines.
The author, Stephen
Hines.
Yes.
Right? And he wrote a book about his journey from, being a Christian to not being a Christian. And
what's the name of the book?
The name of the book is called Rebirth Defect.
Which, I mean, that's a badass. But what's the subtitle?
So like his little pitch for it is, it's my journey from, well, not mine, his journey from Catholic altar boy to teen atheist to adult Christian metal evangelist and back to atheism. Read the book that Read the book that is rumored to have given the Pope an aneurysm. Available in paperback and audiobook through Amazon.
And we have purchased the Audible.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to start it because...
I'm starting it tomorrow.
I'm excited because I read his comic book.
Yeah, he has comic books too. That's amazing.
Zombie Fabulous. Oh my God, you guys. It is so fucking awesome. So we are so humbled and honored to have him as a patron.
Right.
Stephen Hines. Check him out. He's fantastic. He's a really cool dude.
Yeah, and I'm going to put a link to his book in the description of the podcast. So if you want to go there to check it out, feel free to and just click on the link. Take you right there.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yep. All right. So you ready to go ahead and get into our episode then?
I am. 2 Kings chapter 12.
All right.
Here we go. Ready?
I'm ready.
Don't forget, they just killed a bunch of fucking people.
She killed a bunch of people, and then they killed...
They killed her, and then they got rid of all of the Baal and all of the altars and shit.
Right. But they didn't kill a bunch of people yet.
Well, I mean...
Not yet.
I have a feeling, though.
I mean, there's a lot of death and killing in this book, so yeah, I mean, it's a safe bet.
I have a feeling that the way it's going to go is that they didn't just knock down some altars. I think they probably did some business.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay.
But that's just my opinion. You don't just knock down altars. You also kill the followers.
Right.
That's just my opinion based on what I've read thus far.
Yeah.
So here we go. Jehoash began to rule over Judah in the 7th year of King Jehu's reign in Israel. He reigned in Jerusalem 40 years. His mother was Zebiah from Beersheba. All his life, Joash did what was pleasing in the Lord's sight.
Oh, wow.
Because Jehoiada, the priest, instructed him.
Oh, okay.
Yet even so, he did not destroy the pagan shrines, and the people still offered sacrifices and burned incense there.
Why didn't he destroy those then?
Womp womp.
Like if he's doing everything godly, why wouldn't he destroy those?
Because they're like, he's good, but he's not good.
He's not perfect.
He's no David.
Right.
One day, King Joash said to the priests, Hey, collect all the money brought as a sacred offering to the Lord's temple, whether it is a regular assessment or a payment of vows or a voluntary gift.
Okay.
Let the priest take some of that money to pay for whatever repairs are needed at the temple.
Oh, so tithings.
Tithings for building repairs.
Yeah.
But by the 23rd year of Joash's reign, the priest still had not repaired the temple. What they do with the money?
He was laundering that shit, man. He was like taking that, he's stashing it somewhere.
He was buying yachts.
Right?
Because that's how they do.
I'm saying, like, he's got some fucking...
But you know what? I don't think it was the king, because listen to this.
Okay.
So King Joash called for Jehoiada and the other priests and was like, the fuck? Why haven't you repaired the temple?
Right.
Don't use any more money for your own needs, assholes. From now on, it must all be spent on temple repairs.
Right.
But wait, that was 23 years before he called him on it.
Right. But it's funny to me that, like, we're still to this day, we're arguing about, like, taxing churches because, I mean, they're ridiculously, like, some of these churches are ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they have millions of dollars as the fucking pastors and whatever. They're these televangelist type people. And it's insane. We're not taxing them because they're fucking religious. No, fuck that. They're fucking uber rich. And they're getting away with it because they're a quote-unquote church.
And they're fleecing their followers, robbing them, and they're grifters.
And the funny thing is, it was happening back then in the fucking Old Testament. It was already happening.
Yep.
So, like,
and
why would we believe it's any different?
Jesus had problems with that. Like, we know when we get into the New Testament that Jesus is going to have issues with that.
Right.
And all the Christians today seem to have missed that part of Jesus's message.
Yeah.
Or didn't miss it so much as didn't give a fuck because they ain't real Christians.
I love the Christian pastors that are actually really popular, but they try to act like they wear blue jeans on the stage and they're like, but they're, they're still rich, right? Like they there's this one guy, I can't remember what his name is. I think it's Greg Locke. Yeah. And he is always like, he's wearing like blue jeans and like t-shirts and shit. And he's always bitching about like, Joel Osteen and the other preachers that are all rich and, wonderful, but he is the same thing, just
he understands how to play the part better.
He's disguised.
But he got them manicured nails.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
So the priests agreed not to accept any more money from the people, and they also agreed to let others take responsibility for repairing the temple. No, what happened was they got busted and were like, okay.
Yeah.
Then Jehoiada the priest bored a hole in the lid of a large chest and set it on the right-hand side of the altar at the entrance of the temple of the Lord. The priests guarding the entrance put all of the people's contributions into the into the chest.
Okay.
Whenever the chest became full, the court secretary and the high priest counted the money that had been brought to the Lord's temple and put it into bags. Then they gave the money to the construction supervisors who used it to pay the people working on the Lord's temple. The carpenters, the builders, the masons, and the stonecutters. They also used the money to buy the timber and the finished stone needed for repairing the Lord's temple, and they paid any other expenses related to the temple's restoration. So they got busted, and then they fixed it.
But they got away with it for 23 years.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean...
The money brought to the temple was not used for making silver bowls, lamp snuffers, basins, trumpets, or other articles of gold or silver for the temple of the Lord. It was paid to the workmen who used it for temple repairs, as it should be.
Yeah. None of that fancy shit. You just gotta pay for them repairs.
Just get the plumbing in good order,
right?
Okay?
Yeah.
Make the lights go on.
Right.
Put the windows, get glass in those windows. No accounting of this money was required from the construction supervisors because they were honest and trustworthy men.
I don't know about. I mean, like, why
were they?
Why should we believe that?
Were they though?
Right?
I don't know that.
So, like, that's like saying that my company is honest and trustworthy.
Is it?
Like, I could say on a general level, like, sure, they don't try to outright screw me over. But, like, if I didn't clock in for, like, 20 minutes and I told them about it and they forgot to punch it in, they're not going to go out of their way to fix that.
No.
You know, like, so honest and trustworthy is subjective there. It's not exactly a...
Insofar as they didn't get caught doing anything they shouldn't have.
Maybe they were mostly
Maybe they were good insofar as it was easy.
But I bet they took advantage of some shit.
I'm sure they did.
They're being tossed money and they're like, oh, they're good. They're good.
Okay, look, even the best employee takes a pen from work and brings home.
Right.
And we all fill out on the survey that no, we would never, but we all do.
That's what I'm saying. Like, every time I saw that question, like, you know how they have those questions where, like, would you ever steal from, work, including a pen? And I'm like, well, fuck yeah, I would.
Of course I would. And
I've done it multiple times.
Is this a trick? Because you know I would. Because you would. You who typed up this questionnaire.
You probably have a fucking pen from work at your house right now.
You probably typed this up. You probably took a ream of paper home when you were printing this shit out and were like, nobody will notice.
Right. Exactly.
Because they won't.
Right.
And I'm not saying I never took a ream of paper, but you took toilet paper from work once. From a place that you worked.
Well, I mean, it was during the pandemic and toilet paper was scarce. So, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to get some just in case. So
you did. You brought home a couple rolls and we needed it. We used it.
Yeah, because it was very scarce.
It was tight pooping right there for a while.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, I always take a pen. And I hate that those surveys make me lie. They force me to lie. And I don't think that I should be made to feel guilty because let me tell you how many times that I brought my own pens to work that got taken by other coworkers or their children who played with my color pens.
Or how many times does your company take advantage of your time or your availability or whatever? Like they definitely go the other way with it too.
Yeah,
so.
I feel like I should make them fill out a survey.
Right.
Like, no, okay, I won't take your pen, but do you promise that you ain't gonna bitch at me if I clock out early or if I stay late? You aren't gonna be like, well, we can't pay you overtime. You were not approved of this. No, fuck the fuck off because you make me stay because I can't just walk out in the middle of speaking to a customer.
Right.
But don't tell me that I'm not going to get paid for finishing that goddamn conversation that I'm required to finish.
Right, right.
So fuck the fuck off. Yes, I stole your goddamn pen and you stole my time and we are not even square.
Right.
You still owe me by my count.
Exactly.
Okay, sorry. So companies ain't right.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah. And we might have a few opinions about that.
We might. As a matter of fact, one of the upcoming Patreon episodes that I wanted to do is about corporate abuse and how it is emotional abuse.
Right.
And how some of the things that are said and done to people, if you said it without the context and somebody thought that it was like your partner, they would literally be like, oh, you need to break up with him.
Right, yeah.
Like my sister literally brought that to my attention at the last place I worked.
Yeah.
I was like telling her, oh, I need to do this and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, why? They don't appreciate you. And I'm like, because, I feel like, it's important, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, you care more than they do. That's emotional abuse.
Right.
They're gaslighting your ass.
Right, right.
Yeah. So anyways, I feel like that's an important episode that we will discuss at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
However, continuing.
Yes.
The money that was contributed for guilt offerings and sin offerings was not brought into the Lord's temple. It was given to the priests for their own use.
Okay. I mean, I guess that was cleared. That's good. We're okay there.
That way, I guess.
I wonder if they ever just slid a little bit from the other offering into the, the guilt and sin offering. They're like, we'll just take a little bit there and put it in this one. Who's gonna know?
There's no security cameras.
Right. Yeah. Right.
There's nobody.
No one will know.
There's no social media. You're not gonna get.
And
caught.
they were obviously doing it before, so I guarantee at least a little bit still ended up, slushed over.
Of course it did. About this time, King Hazael of Aram went to war against Gath and captured it.
Oh, okay.
Then he turned to attack Jerusalem.
Oh, that asshole.
King Joash collected all the sacred objects that Jehoshaphat, Jehoram and Ahaziah, the previous kings of Judah, had dedicated, along with what he himself had dedicated. He sent them all to Hazael, along with all the gold in the treasuries of the Lord's temple and the royal palace.
Okay.
So Hazael called off his attack on Jerusalem.
Because he's like, there's nothing there to steal.
I guess.
Right?
I guess. The rest of the events in Joash's reign and everything he did are recorded in
the Book of Chronicles, Kings, whatever shit thing that we can't see on there. So
that we're not allowed to see in this.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Joash's officers plotted against him and assassinated him at Beth Millo on the road to Silla.
That didn't work out very well for him.
I don't know what the road to Silla is.
And why?
Yeah. The assassins were Josachar of Shemeath, or son of Shemeath, and Jehozabad, son of Shomer, both trusted advisors.
Oh, no.
Joash was buried with his ancestors in the city of David. Then his son Amaziah became the next king. The end.
Okay, so...
People were robbing, and then they stopped robbing, and then they robbed some more, and then then a king died and was replaced by his son. The end.
Right, I mean, like, there's got to be more. Like, that's they always just throw these things out like that, and I'm like, there's got to be more to the story, right? Like, some king dies, and his son gets anointed king, but like, why did they kill him? Did they kill him because they're working with his son? Or, like, there's got to be some sort of, like, nefarious thing going on behind somewhere, because you don't just kill somebody just to kill them.
Right.
There's got to be some reason behind it.
His officers plotted against him.
Why do we never get to know the fucking reason?
I don't know. They didn't like him.
They leave that shit out.
They didn't like him. They wanted more money for their yachts.
Right.
I guess.
Right. Yeah.
So.
All right.
I guess. Whatever.
Well, that was 2 Kings chapter 12. And tomorrow we'll be going over
2 Kings chapter 13.
All right. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Hey, wife. I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.